Sweet, is it going?
Yep.
Alright, so come on over here. Okay, so real quick for the sake of the video, we have 4 cups of flour here. We have 1 1/4 cup of warm water here in this bowl. We have, sorry, I'm just reading the recipe, at least a tablespoon of yeast here, at least a half a teaspoon of salt, at least a teaspoon of sugar, some flour to put on the, on our hands and on the dough so that it doesn't stick to us. Might need more, I'm not sure, I just threw some there. We're gonna end up using a tablespoon of oil. You can use, I just use olive oil, you can use vegetable oil too. I haven't tried with other ones. And then I have a little bit more warm water here because I find that sometimes it doesn't stick together enough, so I just add a little bit of water after the fact. So, Eno is going to put each of these in the bowl there. Go ahead, just dump it in. Dump it straight in, okay? And go ahead and do the same thing with those ones. So we're combining it all into the water. Okay, and then Dad's gonna do this next part. I'm just gonna put, I say a tablespoon of oil. I kind of just eyeball it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's probably more than a tablespoon, but it's fine. I will add most of this. I'll probably leave about a little bit here in the bottom. Might not be able to see that, but I'll leave a little bit in the bottom. I'll add a little bit more. And then I'll let it get started here. Okay, so this ran for a little bit, maybe a minute or two. Now it's kind of fluffy, but it's mostly come together. I don't know what other people do. I just kind of like leave it how it is right here. And what we'll do is we'll add the rest of this. Do you want to be the one to pour it in? Just kind of spread it around, that's fine. Okay. Alright, here I'm just making sure kind of gets in there nicely. And now we'll throw it back in here for a little bit. Okay, this is probably good enough. So now we didn't actually end up, because we put the extra water in up front, we don't have to add some right now. I think this is a good consistency. I know the consistency is good because I made this enough, but just to show the video here. So hopefully that comes across. It's still kind of like flaky a little bit. It's like that. We want it to be a little bit more solid. So I'm just gonna do the old-fashioned way here. And just kind of fold it into itself. Okay, so first of all, I forgot to mention that you want the oven on 500 degrees. I usually do that first thing. So now it's still a little bit fluffy, but it's coming out doughier for sure. Like, it's not falling apart. Before it was about to fall apart. Now it's doughy. You could keep going if you want. I usually call it quits right about here. So then I split it in two. These are going to be too big, so I split it one more time. The recipe I do basically makes like 4 breads. Okay, I'll get it ready for you. So then you got your little dough piece. I'm folding it like this down, and then you grab it, circle it around, and then you're left with a little bit at the bottom there that you squeeze, and then just kind of collapse it there, and then you flatten it, and now you've got yourself a little pita bit there, and then that's when you just want to flatten it. We're gonna cut to a break real quick because I gotta go check on some other rice, and we'll flatten these out. We'll do a little time lapse or something. Stop. We'll do a little time lapse or something, and then we'll come back for something else. All right. Can I use the rolling pin, please? Thank you. We're going for function here, not appearance. What'd you say? Yeah, you want me to do it with yours? Okay. We're not making a pizza, so it doesn't have to be super circular, does it?
Dad, how do I make pizza?
It's pita bread.
Yep, it's pita bread, not pizza bread.
Dad?
Yeah.
How do I make pizza?
We'll have to do it sometime and I can show you. So, one thing I want to say for the video here is that when you do these, you want to let them like sit. I usually just let them sit on the counter. You can like let them rise, or, you know, in a bowl with a paper towel on them or whatever. But you want the yeast to rise, make it rise a little bit, not rise, but activate or whatever. I don't know baking terms, man. This little bit there. Okay, so now we got that. Now we need one of these. You know, put that there. I like to put just a little bit of oil on here so it doesn't stick. Kind of spread that around. I'll just use my hand this time around. You can use, once upon a time, I think we must have gotten rid of it, but we had a pizza stone. That would probably work pretty good actually for this. But then we're gonna put our bread on here. And you know what? There's probably only enough room for one here. So we'll put it on here, and we're gonna cook it for 4 minutes.
Should do a time lapse.
And then we'll be back. All right, so 2 of the breads came out. I've been snacking on them. I think I got a time lapse in there, but they get a little bit of bubble. If I had left them, the yeast to rise a little bit longer, I think they would have had a little bit more bubbliness. But you want, so I don't know how well this is showing up on the camera, but you know, brown's fine. It just means that piece is a little tiny bit crispier, but if you'll watch here, I can pull a piece off, and it's nice and malleable here. So you can, if you have a different sizes of the breads, you could use them for like gyros. We used to use them at Nicholas for like pizzas and stuff. Obviously, you'd want to perforate before you actually put pizza toppings on it so that it didn't rise. But at Nicholas, we would use the same bread for like the pita bread just to dip with and stuff, or to put with hummus or stuff like that. We would also use the same bread for like the gyro sandwiches that we made. So it's just kind of, it's not super fancy like it doesn't taste fantastic. In fact, this batch might have been able to use a little bit more sugar. Maybe that's just the bites I've gotten so far, but what I do want to make mention of, I ended up, what I do, just because we won't actually eat that full batch all in one go, and you don't want it to sit there and go bad, so I will save the dough in those circle forms, and then I'll just refrigerate it, and then, like, you know, a day later or 2 days later or whatever, put the oven on for 500 again, flatten them out, and then just have pita bread good to go. What I have to insist that you try though is you can get this this green za'atar. Hopefully that shows up on camera. You can get it off of Amazon, and I mix it. Everybody thought I was crazy when I said that we mix it with vegetable oil, but that's what we did at the restaurant, and I stand by it because it tastes amazing. So you just mix the, hopefully that shows up, you just mix the actual za'atar in there with vegetable oil, and then form a little dipping sauce, and then I kind of like, I usually get about that kind of ratio, and boy, it is good. It just ends up being a really good vessel for dipping. I'm sure if you flatten it enough, you might be able to make tortillas out of it or something. I think that's it though. So there you go.